Well, the garage is a bit of a hodgepodge at the moment. I am in the process of redoing the Elan upholstery, seat upholstery. Old upholstery is in that bag there. The new upholstery came from England and is in that bag. Well, actually, this box, half of it's in there, and half of it is spread out all over there. Let's see, here's some of the stuff, some of the parts I need. I separated everything and counted, so I knew what was what. There's all the small bits, half of the small bits, and there's all of the little wires and whatnot. And I haven't quite figured out what these extra rods are for, but I'll show you where they go, and have to figure out what to do with the new ones. The instructions are running on my laptop. These are the side bolsters for the top and bottom of the seat sides. This is the back piece here. This, I think, is the top of the new seat, the top of it. I'm not going to unfold it just yet because that's part of the, that'll happen as part of the installation. Those long metal rods actually go in these little sleeves right here. That's the new one. Here's an old one in comparison. This color, they didn't look that bad when I took them off, but when I compare old to new, I go, ooh, yeah, man, this thing's kind of gnarly. The vinyl really isn't that bad. There's old vinyl, so there's slightly, I mean, there's some coloration there, I guess. Old vinyl and new vinyl. But this is obviously better. And it's the cushion, the new, you can really feel that. This is collapsed in old. This in here, you can really, it's just, this is a major step up. And that's what I was after. The seat felt, I mean, like I was sitting in it, but I wasn't cushioned. And so I'm looking forward to sitting in one of these that's been redone. So yeah, that's the project. Here's the seat frame. Now let me bring it out here a little bit. Obviously, I've given it a dash of paint and stuff. The springs were in good shape. These rear ones back here, I did replace those, and before I go into assembly, I might add a couple back there because, you know, that's where your butt goes, right? And that's where the most, you know, the bulk of the weight of a person goes when they sit in this seat. These are the side bolsters. This one, let me pull it out a little further here. This one, in general, was mangled. It was bent. It wasn't the same shape as the one on the other side. So I used that one as my model, and then modeled this one after it, bent it, and so forth. It's pretty easy to bend. This isn't particularly stiff or it's not hardened anyway, so it's easy to bend. So yeah, it looks a lot better now, and I think it'll be good to go. So that's what we're going to bolt everything to, or glue everything to, and that's what we're going to glue onto it. That and those, and using that hardware over there. So that's the plan, and let's get underway. Okay, so the base is in place pretty much. Need to do the sides, of course, but the thing I didn't remember was that all three layers here, the burlap and the foam and the vinyl, they all go underneath this wire. And it's quite a push. And then they mark the vinyl. You can't see it because it's underneath there, but they mark the vinyl with a little white line on each corner, a little white line right there and there, to tell you where the wire should be. The white mark should be under the wire. So it's quite a shove to get it under there. That took a little bit of effort. And then they gave me these wires to put in there. They're stiff. I tried to pre-bend them, but I needed a device to do that. And so I just decided I didn't like them, and I used my own wire, which you can see here, which is smaller and easier to work with. And it's about the size of the stuff that was on there on the original seat, so I don't feel badly about that. I think that's going to work well. So next up is to glue the edges of these guys together. All right, the burlap is done on both sides. And these side pieces have been glued on to the seat edge per the instructions. And now I'm going to start wrapping them around the cushion, around the wire frame. So that's my next step. And then we will go on to fastening down the front and the back. Well, it's the next day. I got pretty far. Got the side paddings all set up and everything, to my satisfaction. I'm kind of fussy, but these seat clips are really being a thing for me. This isn't too hard here. You just have the one layer, one thickness of material to clip over, but up front here, you've got the foam, you've got the burlap, foam, and the vinyl. And getting those clips, I've got a couple on there, but it's ugly, and I really don't have control over where they're going. So I'm really fumbling with it. So I came up with a couple of ideas laying in bed last night, and I'm going to try them out and see if I have any better luck. But it's very challenging. Well, no one will ever doubt that it was a DIY job. The best I've come up with to get these guys on is to kind of roll it over, get some idea of where it's going to wind up, and then set the outer edge as best you can. Dig it into the material. You're going to make a mark, so put it where you want it, and then just stretch that other side out and over. I'm not going to do it right now, but that's the best I came up with. Set this outer edge, and then just stretch and push the edge that's going to wrap around. But the rest of it's done. Hog ring. I'm getting better with hog rings, that forward edge is set, and the bottom is done. Here, let's back up a little. My wire clips, my wire ties down here. These are tucked in. Canvas, I have to do the back edge yet. This back edge isn't done. That should be a little bit more fun too, but shouldn't be as awesomely, gloriously fun as the front was. Well, I hope I'm right here, but I went with everything underneath this bar, and then I clipped everything in this direction. That is not how it's shown in the instructions from Newton Commercial, but it looks like the old seat. When I say old seat, I've got this as the passenger seat that has not, as far as I can tell, ever been redone. But if I look at the original seat back here, the bar is above this stuff and below that stuff, and this side is the back squab of the seat, and this is the base material, and they pulled everything this way, as you can see, and it's all under the bar is right above my thumb here, and so that's what I did. Well, when you turn it over, you'll see the amateur touches, but I think from here, I don't think it's too bad. On to the top, the squab. The instructions say they're pretty short. They say do it like the bottom, and then they add a couple of details, but that includes little marks. There's one, and there's one. That indicate how far to pull through, and I'm assuming that, and I'm sure glad I put that underneath, because now I need to pull that other vinyl through there, down to the point of the white marks. So that's up next. I think that's got it. That was really tough to get pulled through there. And I have no idea whether I'm at the marks or not. They're really hard to see on the other side. I have some tools. This is a pair of plastic pliers that I got for pulling spark plugs, but they came really handy tugging away at this, pulling this fabric through. And these are, other interior tools that I've had. They were handy. And I used this when I was tucking in those the edges, rolling the edges of the foam. So you may want to put those on your tools list. Up here, I temporarily wired off the burlap just to hold it up so it wouldn't fall down while I was working. And my end result up at the top is the foam is roughly even with the top edge of the frame. That's like the old seats. The old seats, the foam stops right at the top of the frame, and the frame top is just covered in vinyl. So that was my objective there, and that's what I'm going with as my aim. I'm still not sure if I have the left-right fitment right, but boy, it's hard to see. It's hard to see on this side whether you've got it right. The other thing that I took some time doing was making sure I got these corners tucked correctly, and I don't know if I do, because once we put the pads on the sides here, that's going to have to tuck. This will fill out. Let's see, I can't see, there we go. I'm in the light. This will fill out, and then this has to tuck under it. So I'm gonna definitely kind of test fit everything, and the instructions suggest that. But that's how far, and again, you're supposed to see in here to see those little marks, and I can't see those little marks. But I think that's about as far as I'm gonna go with the base, or with the squab. Sorry, base, squab. All these words. Well, the Hessian material is also through. You got to take it easy on that stuff. I'm glad I did them separately, because that way I could see how far I was pulling this down. But this was a challenge. This was a challenge to get in there. Now I need to tie the foam along the edges. I need to pull it back and tie it back. They don't tell you where to put the marks, where to put things, but I took a lot of pictures of my old one, so I'll see what that showed and put them in the same place. Well, my awesome video skills are on display. I managed to lose the audio of this video and a couple of the other segments. What I'm trying to fumble around and show with my hands here is that the side bolster and the top bolster come together right at that corner. And in order to make it look a little bit better, it's an awkward little spot, and to make it look a little bit better, I took the seam from the lower bolster, that top seam where the pieces come together, and in these pictures, it's tied to the side. It's hog-ringed to the side of the frame, and what I've done is I disconnected it and I put it on top of that frame so that it made that corner look a little bit better. Here's another moment of brilliance. I forgot to remove those temporary wires before I started folding everything over and tying it down, hog-ringing it down. And so now I'm wrestling them out from inside there. Lots of fun. Don't forget. And here's the finished product. It's not perfect. It definitely has a DIY vibe. I'm happy enough with it. I've sat in it and it sits good. The passenger seat I did after this came out pretty well. So I'm certainly going to live with it and get it in the car and use it. And maybe you can learn from this and get yours to look a little better. Well, I adjusted the seat back one notch and had to adjust the seat belt as well. Pretty interesting. So enough of this stuff. Let's go for a drive. Say that I feel like I'm being held in place more. The old seat, the cushioning was, the foam was deteriorated, so I probably sat deeper into the side bolsters than I do now, but it's not a big difference. So overall, I'm very happy. I've been on a longer drive since this these clips were recorded, and it's comfortable over a longer haul. There's one little niggle that I'm going to play around with involving my left leg, but it's pretty minor. The seats are better. I'm happy I did it. The car is an absolute joy. Boy, what else can I say? It's way more fun with the top down than it is with the top up, but just more enjoyable with the top down, I guess. And the seats add to the enjoyment. So that's it. That's my seat redo adventure.